burns wood chips and some of the waste from La Crosse. And it was closed down. It was closed down in 2007 because of excessive dioxin emission. The people of Prophet and Machu Chao, aren't they on overload already?
Long time.
So why give them any more?
Oh my gosh.
That's inhumane.
Agreed.
Let alone it's not necessary.
But you think
it
they're
is not a necessary process. And it's not going to mean a benefit. People say they have a lot of hope for an undersea cable. They have hope for windmills and solar power and all of this. It means nothing.
Herb.
It means nothing unless...
So, Herb, you don't believe in the Eden Project?
No. That's a bunch of left-wing, radical, green, Al Gore people, global warming. Well, if they don't want global warming, then don't put Alpine there because they're going to contribute to global warming.
Actually, Herb, this is the first time I got to disagree. I believe they're very right-leaning. I believe that their plan is not lefty at all. It's kind of right-leaning.
I don't know what it is, but it's not. It doesn't make any sense for us.
Now, Herb, you mentioned something that I want to bring you back to because it has a great energy potential, but health is a big concern here in the Virgin Islands. You see what happens to the hospital when a release comes from HES. Back to your glow-in-the-dark boxes.
No, that's glow-in-the-dark boxes. In fact, they've been on naval ships for the last 50 years. You can sleep on them.
Yeah, but those are sailors. I mean, come on. You see how... I don't want to get too political here. Wait. Let me finish. Those are sailors who are under orders to show up on that ship. We're talking about civilians. Hold on. I'm talking to her here. No,
but you can't...
Sailors don't have the kind of freedom to go or to refuse to go on a nuclear-powered submarine that I have to do. No, hold on. Hold on. No.
What are these Democrats arguing again?
You know how we do our firing squad. Don't worry about it. Listen, when you talk about safety, and my good friend here talking about don't go there, I'm going to say two words to both of you. Agent Orange. Now let's move on.
Okay, but
my question to you is...
President Obama is for this project, and so is Dr. Stephen Chu, Secretary of Energy.
A lot of politicians do things that happen NIMBY, not in my own backyard. This is a tiny island.
Electric grid too.
This is a tiny island, and I want to know about the health risk.
Hey, listen, we've had nuclear warships in Frederiksted for donkey years.
They don't stay there for years. They come and go. When you plant it in my yard, I want to know what the impact is. I mean, my banana's going to be, 8 feet long from nuclear energy. Come on, let's talk.
Look, you can put it in my backyard. I don't care. And I'll give the neighbors free power. But the point of the matter is it doesn't have a problem. It is not Fukushima #1 or 3 Mile Island. These are little tiny small boxes that sit 60 feet underground. They don't use water for a coolant. They use liquid sodium, and they're safe, ultra safe. They don't have any pumps. They don't have any failure mode, and they produce power, steam power to run a steam turbine.
Well, if they're so good, why aren't they all over the place yet?
They are, as a matter of fact. In the 28th of this month, at the Marriott Hilton in Washington, D.C., or the Marriott Hotel in Washington, D.C. Marriott.
Yeah, the conference, yes.
A conference with the ASME, the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, sponsored by the Department of Energy. And Dr. Stephen Chu will be there, and the vendors will be there.
You going?
And
you going?
And you know who's buying them up? Countries in Africa that don't have any source of power. China is buying them up. They want these things. And
so you're saying this is safe on a little island?
You want one?
Totally safe, and I want one down here on a test project. If you want to bring it in on a barge, if you want to float it out on a barge like a submarine, fine. But I want something next month or next year, at least next year, that'll cut this LEAC completely gone.
Can you bring us a nice safety report when you come back from your convention? I mean, we have said before we're willing to consider anything to help the people.
I'm not going to convention. I just came from one, the Republican National Convention, but I think at least
that was your last meeting.
So you ain't going to this energy one?
I want somebody who is in a position of authority to go up there and at least check it out.
Well, ain't Roy, and ain't you, and ain't me.
I ain't got no authority. And you got the knowledge. Go bring it back for us.
Nice talking to you all.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Good morning, caller. You're on Beyond Politics.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Carol, Hugh, Roy.
Yes. Yes, good morning.
This is Carl Knight, the director of the Virgin Islands Energy Office.
Good morning.
Carl.
Good morning.
What? Thanks for
You
calling.
called to tell us about the purchase of some of her boxes?
Yeah, I want to talk about that. There's so much I need to touch on now since I've been holding on.
Well, we're glad we get you, though.
You got the mic.
Wow,
Well,
go right ahead.
Well, let me tell you, the first thing that prompted me to call, Roy, I get worried that sometimes we don't get things done because we fight down each other. The Eden Initiative, which I'm a co-lead on along with my counterpart, Hugo Hodge, it is not in opposition. It is not contrary to the Senator's resolution and what you're trying to achieve with that resolution.
Oh, we recognize that.
It's a great compliment.
But he didn't say that.
Yeah, we recognize that.
It's a great compliment, so I just want you to know that, and I want to clarify that. I also want to clarify that
the year.
we have a goal to achieve by 2025 a specific reduction in the barrels of oil that WAPA is consuming.
Right.
It doesn't mean that nothing takes place
Until
in the time until 2025.
Right.
Matter of fact, since we got started in February of last year, we've actually had quietly but surely some significant achievements. Since the time we started the project, WAPA has put on a new heat recovery steam generator. It's brand spanking new. It's shiny. If you go to the Richmond power plant, you'll see it there. It has improved the efficiency of that power plant tremendously. They have put in new reverse osmosis plants, which is reducing the amount of oil that they're burning to create water for the St. Croix distribution system. They're looking at doing the same thing in St. Thomas right now. They've put
Mr. Knight,
online
please don't take this interruption the wrong way, but I have to slow you down a second. I'm a little concerned on behalf of the energy-consuming public that we spend too much time on the technology you described. What people who are listening or not listening to the show want to know, how that going to affect my next WAPA bill.
It has a tangible impact in reducing the amount of oil that WAPA is purchasing from Ovensa.
No, take it all the step, because my question is, for the person who's taking out the last little bit of money to pay the WAPA bill, what is the impact on my next WAPA bill? See, because the science and the technology of it is sound, and I take no issue with it.
Right.
But in terms of people's lives, what's the impact?
And that's the problem. That's the problem that I have with these kind of conversations, in that it has a tangible impact. It has already had a tangible impact. If you think the LIAC increase the last one was rough, it would have been rougher. While fighting a headwind with the cost of oil, WAPA has been doing their part, and there's been other projects that have been doing their part to reduce that burden on the consumer, and it has a tangible impact. One of the exercises that we're involved in through this Eden Initiative is starting to quantify, as we're measuring how much oil is WAPA purchasing this year versus last year versus the year before, tracking the progress towards the goal. We're trying to equate that now, those barrels of oil directly to that LIAC surcharge. How much is it costing WAPA now to produce a kilowatt hour? And it has a tangible impact, but the dollars and cents...
But you see how there's a gap? You said tangible impact, but people not experience it. Mr. Knight, this is not to diminish your scientific perspective.
No,
but for the man on the street, he hears you say today. Wait, he hears you say today.
Scientific, it is what it is.
No, but he hears you say tangible impact, and he paying more next month. Fill in the gap for me.
He just said it.
There is a headwind of world economic influences on the price of oil that the Virgin Islands is tied to. I've said time and time again, the Virgin Islands only reduces its LIAC when we reduce our dependency on oil.
Agreed.
The more we reduce our dependency on oil, the greater we can reduce the LIAC. Oil, which we are 100% dependent on, is the most expensive way of producing electricity on the face of the planet. Nobody has a more expensive way of producing electricity other than the Virgin Islands. And so we have to deal with this oil issue. It does have an impact, and that depends on what your consumption is and how much, some people, they are very conservative in their household. Other people haven't gotten the message. They use a lot of energy and use energy inefficiently, and it has a bigger impact on them than it does on the person who is actually a very conservative person. It's hard to equate it.
Yeah, because when you say conservative, some people are conservative at a level that makes them quite uncomfortable. It's a financial survival. It is not a functional, acceptable conservatism. It is they absolutely have no more money.
To the point that ain't killing residents alone, it's killing the economy. Our business sector, our private. Well, okay,
let me touch on that too.
Okay, go ahead.
So with this Eden initiative, first of all, so to wrap up where I was going with that, we figure we've gotten at least about an 8% decrease in WAPA's oil consumption since we started.
Now, why did he say 8?
Why we say 8? Because we're counting barrels of oil. 8%. And based on the projects that we have put online, the PV at the airport, the work we're doing in the schools right now, the LED street lighting that WAPA is starting to deploy, we figure we've gotten about an 8% decrease. Now, how much has the price of oil gone up since then? That's the difference, and that's the gap that you're talking about.
Hold up right there on that question, the price of oil.
Yes.
The oil that we get here in St. Croix,
yes.
Where does it come from?
It comes from a variety of sources, some from Venezuela, some from Africa, some from the Middle East.
So the price for the oils that we receive here, it varies?
It varies. It all depends on who the buyer is. But yes, Hovensa pays different prices for oil depending on where they source it from.
Okay.
And depending on when they bought it versus the time it actually arrived at their refinery.
Okay, go ahead.
The other thing, so let me touch on a couple of things. So the whole process of the Eden Initiative, I spent all day Thursday and talking about an audience of about 90 people, and all Friday morning talking to a slightly smaller audience about what we're trying to do. One of the things that I asked them to do is to help us promote some of the current initiatives we have right now. I have an initiative for small businesses where we are willing to come into that business like an Armstrong ice cream, do an audit of the business, put together a package that will demonstrate a certain amount of savings for them, and the Energy Office will give them a grant right there up front for 40%.
You do island dairies? Did you do island dairies?
We haven't done island dairies, but
and do they need to request it themselves, or can a loyal customer request it on their behalf?
Anybody, you just need to bring them to my attention, and I could take it from there. I plan to stop by Armstrong Ice Cream because it's on my way to work, and I plan to sit with Armstrong, Cedric, and discuss the program that I have. 40% grant, as much money as he wants to spend, or as little bit amount of money as he wants to spend, I will match him 40%. Whatever he wants to put out of his pocket, he wants brand new freezers, I'll cover 40% of the cost for the new freezers. We could work with him through EDA or rural. They have this small business program as rural development to help him finance the balance. If he doesn't have the upfront capital, we can make this happen.
Okay.
What I need is people to buy into what we're trying to do and help spread the word. I have a program for low-income customers, low-income clients, anybody making up to 150% of the poverty level. If you're elderly, if you're disabled, certain households, depending on the number of children in your household, we have a program where we'll come in and provide energy efficiency retrofits in your home free of charge. Replace your refrigerator.
We have a lot of people like that, Carl.
Yes, and I spent a lot of time Thursday afternoon asking for two things from the audience. Help me put more money into the program because I'm wholly dependent on federal funds to fund that program, and help me promote it. Give me an audience with your church, wherever it is. Let me tell people that I have money right now.
You got a good audience right now.
Stimulus dollars that I want to put out on the street.
So you want us to put you in a resolution too? Should we get some gasoline excise tax? We're going to include you in that, man.
That's it. That's the other thing. Well, you have the Eden in there already.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing is, the grid connection. So the grid connection is part of the resolution. That is something that the Eden Initiative and our partnership with the Department of Energy has helped tremendously with. As WAPA sits to the table with Puerto Rico, NREL and the Department of Energy has been right there providing technical assistance and advice to WAPA to make sure that they know what they're getting themselves into. They have helped review that feasibility study that was funded by Congress partially to make sure that WAPA understands what the implications of that feasibility study is. To the previous caller, I want to point out that they looked at routes from St. Thomas to the BVI, St. Croix to St. Thomas to Puerto Rico, St. Croix to Puerto Rico. They have found that the route to the BVI is feasible, the route from St. Thomas to Puerto Rico is feasible, the route from St. Croix to Puerto Rico is feasible. They have actually looked at the ocean maps and identified a route that is quite feasible to connect St. Croix